Hi, I'm Linda, and this is No Frills ASMR. So, I did a video last week about the presidents, and we looked through these cards and looked at pictures of each president. And at the end, I took 5 out of the stack, and I will real quick go through them again with you without the 5, just to jog your memory. And then I will tell you which ones I left out. So if you're curious, that's what we're doing. You know, this picture, somebody said there's no way this is 1829 Andrew Jackson. But I forgot to look it up, and I don't see, I was just looking, there's no date on here at all. It does appear they're all wearing top hats. You know what's weird? Boy, I can't see. I swear that this picture almost looks like there's a coffin right there. Can you guys see that? Could they have put something? Because they're saying it's the inauguration day, but they don't tell you in this photo. But it's like along, maybe it's a desk of some sort. Anyway, whatever. I don't know. Okay. So we'll take these out. Okay. These are the ones that we had. I'll go through them once with you real quick before showing you the 5. I mean, I won't read them. I'll just show you the pictures in case you didn't do it the first time and you think you can guess. So what we did was we went through all these. I took 5 out and went through them again, and then people guessed in the comments. And I think that there were maybe 3 people who got them in the comments. So I just realized he kind of looks like Herman Munster. Maybe not. You still have that show, the Munsters. Okay, so the 5 that we're missing, I'm going to show you right now. We have this one, and this is Franklin Pierce. He was president from 1804 to 1869, the 14th president. Just a few weeks before Franklin Pierce became president, his 11-year-old son was killed in a train accident. This sad event cast a shadow over his term as president. I imagine so. Pierce grew up in the North in the state of New Hampshire. During his time as president, the North and South continued to argue about slavery. Pierce tried to keep the peace, but he did something that made things worse. He signed a law saying that people living in Kansas could decide whether or not to allow slavery. People in Kansas started fighting each other. More than 200 people died in the fight, which was called Bleeding Kansas. Pierce had an amazing memory. He memorized his entire first speech as president, all 3,319 words, and recited it without notes. Okay, but actors do that all the time. All right, so that was the first one. And then we have this guy. Any guesses? This is Andrew Johnson, 1808 to 1875. He was the 17th president from 1865 to 1869. Andrew Johnson, what did I say? Johnson. Was born in a tiny cabin in North Carolina. He became president when Abraham Lincoln was killed. It was a difficult time. The Civil War was over, but Americans had been fighting each other for 4 years. It was President Johnson's job to help the North and South work together again. But Congress and the president did not always agree on how that should happen. In 1868, Congress said the president had misused his power and broken the law. They had a trial. In the end, Johnson was found not guilty. Fast fact, Johnson knew how to sew really well. He worked as a tailor when he was a boy. This is Herbert C. Hoover, 1874 to 1964. He's 90 years old. The 31st president. He was president from 1829 to 1933. Herbert Clark Hoover was in his first year as president when the Great Depression started. The Great Depression was a time when many Americans lost their jobs. Many shops and companies failed. Many farmers lost their farms. People looked to the president for help. Hoover cared a lot about other people. After World War I, he helped bring food to a lot of hungry people in Europe. But he did not think the Depression would last, so he did not do much to help people as they wanted him to. Soon, people began to want a new president. Fast fact, millions of Americans lost their homes during the Great Depression. They lived in tents. People called the tent cities Hoovervilles. Hoovervilles. We talked about that in a video I did about the Dust Bowl. Anyway, all right, here we go. Any guesses? That is James Buchanan, 1791 to 1868. He was the 15th president from 1857 to 1861. When James Buchanan became president, many people in North and the South were not getting along. I guess I picked a lot from around the Civil War, not on purpose. Many Northerners wanted to stop slavery from spreading west. Some even wanted to end slavery. Most Southerners wanted the new states in the West to have a choice about slavery. The United States actually got smaller when Buchanan was president. In 1861, 7 states in the South left the United States to form their own government. By the end of the year, a total of 11 states would leave the Union. America was about to go to war. Fast fact, James Buchanan was the only president who never married. His orphaned niece served as White House hostess. All right, and lastly, George W. Bush, 1946 to, still alive, 43rd president. Oh yeah, somebody was saying that possibly, because I was like, wait, why doesn't he have an end date? I don't know where the card went, but Where's Obama? Hold on. They mentioned that it could have been he was still president and Obama had won the presidency but wasn't sworn into office yet. Let's take a look real quick. Where's Obama? What the heck? Is he right at the bottom? There he is. Okay, yeah, maybe. So this was published. What did we say was published in? Oops, in 2009. So Bush had been, he'd finished his terms, and Barack Obama had been elected, but it hadn't yet switched over. Okay, good call, good catch. Whoever said that. As soon as I said it, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Okay, because we were trying to figure out why there was no end of his presidency. Okay, George Walker Bush is the son of George H.W. Bush, the 41st President of the United States. He became president after an unusual election. The election was so close that many people wanted the votes in some states counted again. In the end, Bush was declared president. That election, the thing that was used everywhere, it was Al Gore, and they had a voting machine that would punch a hole. I think that was what it was, to pick your choice. And if the holes weren't punched all the way through, they had to debate whether or not to count it. And so depending on how much of the punch went through, it would be called a dangling chad. And they debate whether to accept a dangling chad or not. And so I think for Halloween, people dressed as a dangling chad. Is that right? Am I remembering that right? Was it a dangling or I think it was. Anyway, one of the biggest challenges Bush has faced as president happened on September 11th, 2001. Terrorists flew 2 airplanes into the tower of the World Trade Center in New York City. The United States had been attacked by a terrorist group. The leader of the group was a man named Osama bin Laden. In 2003, Bush said he thought Iraq might own weapons that could threaten the United States and other countries. He ordered American soldiers to invade Iraq. Fast fact, Bush was head cheerleader for the football team when he was in high school. There you go. I shouldn't have picked that one. That's too controversial. I just randomly picked it. So it was George Bush, James Buchanan, Herbert Hoover, Andrew Johnson, and Franklin Pierce. So if you guessed those, you got them right. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon. And you don't need to tell me anything about the election. On the last one, I had to delete some comments.